Beloved son, dear daughter, come closer to me now. I know exactly how you feel at this very moment because nothing that happens in your heart is hidden from my eyes. Come, let me hold your tired hands. Allow me to dry those silent tears that fall unnoticed by anyone. I see them. I feel each one as if they were my own tears. Yes, I know that emptiness that sometimes tries to consume you. I know there are moments when you look around and feel as if something very important is missing in your life. Something that not even success or the admiration of others can fully fill. Son, daughter, listen carefully to this gentle voice of mine that speaks directly to your heart. Do not confuse fame with purpose. Do not exchange the eternal for the fleeting shine of human applause. I clearly see how the search for approval from others sometimes steals your sleep, robs your peace, and leaves you insecure. You strive so hard to please, to stand out, to be recognized. And when you finally achieve the longed-for admiration, you realize that inside the emptiness persists. Then you ask yourself, why am I still not happy? Why is none of this enough? I want you to know, my beloved son, my dear daughter, that the purpose I established for your life does not depend on the opinion of the crowds, nor is it measured by applause or likes on social media. What I have for you is much deeper. Something born in silence, growing in the solitude of prayer, and strengthened in the daily intimacy of our relationship. Do not let the noise of the world drown out the gentle voice of the Spirit that always speaks to your heart. Do not let the pursuit of fame be greater than the search for the true meaning of your existence. Look at me now, because I am looking at you intently with a love that never wavers, never falters, and never runs out. No matter how many times you have made mistakes, no matter if today you stumbled again with the same weakness, my love remains firm and constant, like an eternal rock. Son, daughter, I am here very close to you. I extend my hand again, ready to lift you and place you back on the right path, because I do not give up on you. Even when sometimes you think your life is adrift, I want to remind you that your destiny is not the result of chance, nor is it subject to the randomness of circumstances or the approval of those around you. I wrote your story with the ink of my perfect love. Every detail, every challenge, every obstacle has a divine purpose. Nothing in your life is in vain. I want you to understand this clearly. Fame can put you before men, but only purpose puts you before me. Do not fall into the illusion of fleeting shine. Do not be dazzled by ephemeral lights that soon go out. My light is eternal. My presence never fades. My promise is true and fulfilled at the perfect time. Even if you do not understand it today, even if everything seems confusing right now, I tell you with spiritual authority, you were born for much more than human approval. You were born to be a channel of my love, to reflect my glory, to show the world what it really means to live a life full of true purpose. You have already felt it. I know you have felt it because I placed within you a spiritual hunger, an insatiable thirst that can only be satisfied in my presence. As long as you do not discover that fullness is in me, you will keep searching in dry wells, in empty places. But today, at this very moment, I want you to stop looking outward and begin to look inward, where I dwell, where I speak to you, where I heal you and transform you, no matter how many times you have sought happiness in the wrong places. My forgiveness is greater than any mistake, and my grace covers any sin or failure. Receive now my restoration. Receive now the renewal of your identity. You are not what others say about you. You are not the sum of your mistakes and failures. You are my beloved son, my chosen daughter. That is your true identity. Today I'm renewing your spiritual understanding, removing the blindfolds that prevented you from seeing the true purpose for which you came into the world. Do not let external voices silence what I have already whispered clearly within your spirit. You are chosen, you are loved, you are special. Every pain you have felt, every tear shed in the silence of the night, I gathered lovingly and transformed into seeds for a glorious harvest. Every battle you faced alone without anyone knowing, I saw clearly and never abandoned you. Even when you doubted, even when you thought about giving up, I was there by your side, holding your tired steps, strengthening your weary heart. Today, I declare over your life a new spiritual season, a time when you will finally understand that fame is temporary, but purpose is eternal, a time when you will discover that true success is not being known by men, but being known by me. Yes, son, daughter, there is nothing more valuable than having your name written in my book of life, nothing more precious than hearing my voice saying, "Good and faithful servant, enter into the joy of your Lord." That is true victory. That is true success. Everything else is fleeting, passing like vapor that vanishes into the air. But what you build in me remains forever. Son, daughter, the time has come to rise from the dust of doubts, comparisons, and human expectations that only generate anxiety and frustration. The time has come to embrace the calling I placed within you, even if no one else understands it, even if no one else supports it, because I am with you. I am the source of your strength. I am the light that guides your dark path. I am the balm that heals your deepest wounds. And today I am breathing new life upon you. I am bringing clarity where there was confusion. I am bringing direction where there was doubt. I am revealing again the beauty of the eternal purpose I already placed within your heart. Beloved son, dear daughter, lift your head now, straighten your shoulders, and walk with confidence. Not because you have strength in yourself, but because I am strong in you. Not because you have all the answers, but because I, your God and Father, am the very answer to all the doubts and concerns that dwell in your heart. Not because you have absolute control over all the situations you face, but because I hold your life firmly in the palm of my powerful hands. Hands that never lose control, that never tremble before storms, that never let go of those who trust in me. My son, my daughter, I need you to believe now with all your being. Your best days are not behind you, they are right ahead, ready to be revealed. You have not yet seen even a small fraction of what I have prepared for your story. There are still many wonders that will manifest before your eyes. Promises that will bloom after so many silent nights when you cried alone, believing no one heard your prayers. I want you to know that I heard every word, gathered every tear, and now I am opening new and extraordinary doors for you to cross with courage. Beloved son, dear daughter, I am renewing old dreams that seem dead and forgotten inside your heart. I am breathing upon them and making them live again, just as the gardener cares for the seed that remains hidden in the earth until the precise season comes to germinate and grow. I know you have gone through difficult seasons, times when hope seemed too far away to reach, but today I am fully restoring your hope, renewing your spiritual vision so that you see clearly the great purpose I reserved exclusively for you. The path ahead may not be the easiest or the most comfortable, and you may sometimes think about turning back. But I promise you, it will be a beautiful journey, full of meaning and filled with my constant presence. Because everything I do is perfect. Every plan of mine is wonderful, every detail carefully designed so that you find true and lasting fulfillment. So breathe deeply now, and let my peace completely flood your heart, touching every fiber of your tired and anguished soul. Allow my presence to envelop you at this very moment, like a warm and secure embrace, like a cozy refuge in the midst of life's storm. You are not alone on this path. You never were. Even when you thought you were completely abandoned, I was always with you, protecting you silently, holding you, guiding your steps and preparing the way before you. And I remain here right beside you, deep within you, closer than you can imagine. In this sacred and intimate moment, I'm deeply renewing your spirit, fully restoring the joy that seemed lost, bringing a new encouragement that will rekindle in you the absolute certainty of my unfailing love and my unbreakable presence. My son, my daughter, today I send you to live a different life, not to please crowds or chase fleeting human approval, but to fulfill an eternal purpose that I myself established especially for you. Before your eyes saw this world, this is the time of your true transformation, where your identity will be definitively affirmed in my perfect love. This is the time of your inner healing, where old wounds will be completely closed and turned into powerful testimonies of my grace and constant care. This is the time when you will finally understand with full spiritual clarity that you were never alone, that my presence was always and will always be the most solid and secure reality in your life. Beloved son, dear daughter, lift your eyes now and look beyond the immediate circumstances, beyond the momentary struggles, beyond the worries that today seem so big. Something much greater is happening inside and around you. All heaven is moving in favor of your life. My angels are acting right now on your behalf. My mighty hand is moving pieces, opening paths, aligning circumstances so that you fully experience the joy of living in the center of my perfect will. No matter what you see today before you, choose to believe in what I'm saying, because my word never returns empty, and my promise always finds its perfect fulfillment. Today I declare over your life a completely new season, a time of spiritual abundance, deep conquest, and victory over all internal battles that tried to steal your peace and joy. Now move forward with renewed courage, restored faith, and unshakable certainty. You belong to me eternally. Nothing can snatch you from my hands. Nothing can undo what I have determined for your life. Your story is safe with me, written with eternal ink in the book of my heart. You are mine, eternally mine, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can change that. Prepare yourself, because I am taking you to a new spiritual dimension where the fleeting shine of fame will no longer be enough to attract your gaze. You're about to live extraordinary days of deep intimacy with me, days where the purpose I have placed in your heart will shine with strength, clarity, and fullness. Receive now this new time. Receive my powerful blessing, my transforming grace, my unconditional love that never fails and never abandons you. You are too precious to me, and I love you with an eternal, perfect, and absolute love. Never forget it, because you are mine today and forever. Let me take you deeper now, beyond just comfort, into understanding. There are things within you that I long to bring to light, not to expose or shame you, but to heal and strengthen you. You've been carrying certain thoughts, patterns, and hidden wounds for so long that they've blended into the fabric of your identity. But I did not create you to carry those weights. I created you to walk in freedom. There are fears you've normalized, anxieties you've dressed in the clothes of logic, and hesitations you've justified as caution. But listen closely. What you've accepted as your natural limitations are often just unhealed pain in disguise. I want to touch those places now, one by one, gently but thoroughly, because nothing hidden can ever be fully healed. Let's begin with your silence. I know that lately you've withdrawn, not just from others, but even from yourself. You've been busy avoiding your own thoughts, drowning them in noise, distraction, and endless activity. But silence isn't your enemy. In fact, in silence, I speak the loudest. It's in the stillness where you rediscover who you truly are. Not what the world expects, not who you pretend to be, but who I see when I look at you. You've been afraid that if you stop, everything will fall apart. But my child, what's truly meant to remain will never collapse when you rest. It's not your constant movement that sustains your life. It's my hand. Rest is not weakness, it's trust. And I'm calling you to that trust now, to cease striving and to allow me to carry what you've exhausted yourself trying to hold together. And while you rest, I will begin to rearrange things inside of you. Because there are beliefs about yourself that need to be unlearned. Lies you picked up in childhood, wounds you mistook for truth, roles you assumed to survive environments that weren't nurturing. But survival is not the same as living. I did not place you here merely to endure. I placed you here to thrive in the fullness of who you are in me. There are parts of your personality that were shaped more by fear than by faith. And while I honor the strength you've shown, I now want to rebuild your foundation on something stronger, on truth, on love, on clarity that comes from me. Because when I remake something, I don't erase its essence, I restore it to its original beauty. You've mistaken adaptation for identity, but adapting to dysfunction is not the same as being who I created you to be. You learn to people please, to shrink, to walk on emotional eggshells, to feel responsible for others' emotions. And now you wonder why you feel so disconnected from yourself. Come back to me and I will remind you, you were never created to carry burdens that aren't yours. This journey will not always be easy. I will ask you to let go of relationships that drain your spirit. I will call you away from environments that stifle your growth, and I will even ask you to confront parts of yourself that you've avoided for years. But every uncomfortable moment will be sacred, because healing always begins in the places we'd rather not visit. There are people you've been trying to rescue, to fix, to redeem on your own strength. You've tied your worth to their transformation, thinking that if they just get better, you'll finally feel peace. But my child, only I can heal hearts. Your love can reflect me, but it cannot replace me. Let go, and allow me to step in where your hands have grown tired. I know how hard it is to release what you've held so tightly, especially when your intentions were good, but surrender is not giving up, it's giving over. It's trusting that I care more deeply than you ever could, and when you finally release control, you create room for my power to work in ways you could never orchestrate. I want to speak to the part of you that has been craving validation, the part that still hopes someone will finally say, "You are enough." But hear this now, I say you are enough. Not because of what you've done or how well you've performed, but because I made you, chose you, and love you without condition. My voice must become louder than their silence, more defining than their praise or criticism. This is the season where I redefine your sense of value, where I remove your need to prove, perform, or impress, where I teach you to walk in quiet confidence, not in arrogance, not in shame, but in the steady awareness of your identity as mine. You don't need a title, a platform, or approval to be important in my kingdom. And I will also teach you how to see others through my eyes. Because when you're secure in who you are, you'll stop competing and start lifting others. You'll begin to celebrate without comparing, to bless without bitterness. This is the beauty of identity rooted in me. It frees you to love without fear of losing your own place. I know there are parts of your story you wish you could rewrite, moments where you felt too broken, too lost, too far gone. But let me remind you, your story is not a series of missteps. It is a living testimony of my grace. Even the chapters you try to skip over have been used by me to form your resilience, compassion, and strength. You keep asking me for a new season, but I want to give you a new perspective first, because no matter where I lead you, if your mindset remains the same, you'll repeat the old patterns in new places. Let me transform your inner world before I elevate your outer one. There's a kind of courage I'm building in you. A quiet, deep courage that doesn't always look like bold action, but looks like staying when it's easier to leave, forgiving when it's easier to hate, believing when it's easier to give up. I'm shaping a strength in you that the world cannot understand, but heaven recognizes instantly, and you will begin to discern more clearly. I will increase your sensitivity, not to offense or pain, but to my spirit. You will begin to know when to speak and when to stay silent, when to step forward and when to rest, when to say yes with confidence and when to say no with peace. There will be moments when I ask you to walk away from what once brought comfort. Not because it was bad, but because it is no longer part of your next assignment. Growth often requires detachment, not from love but from familiarity that limits your expansion. I am calling you to go deeper in relationships too, not wider. More depth with fewer people, more truth even if it costs you applause. This will be a time of divine pruning, not to punish you, but to make room for greater fruit. Do not mourn what I remove, because what I return will carry the fragrance of heaven. And as you walk more closely with me, you'll notice that clarity doesn't always come with ease. Sometimes I allow tension to sharpen your discernment. Sometimes I allow contradiction to train your spirit, but through it all I never abandon you. I'm always speaking, always guiding. You feared missing your purpose, but listen, you are not powerful enough to ruin what I have authored. Even your detours are woven into my plan. I know how to reroute you without shame, how to bring you home without delay, how to turn even your rebellion into revelation. You don't need to strive to be useful to me. Your availability is more important than your ability. When your heart is open, I can do more with your surrender than with the most impressive skills. I'm not looking for perfect vessels, I'm looking for yielded ones. And my presence will begin to overflow in your daily life. It will not be confined to quiet times or sacred spaces. You will start seeing me in the mundane, in conversations, in decisions, in your work. Because I am not distant, I am deeply involved in the details. You will also find that your authority increases, not because of titles or charisma, but because you have walked through fire and chosen to stay with me. Your wounds will become weapons against darkness. Your pain will carry prophetic insight. Your scars will become signs of resurrection power. And those dreams I placed in you long ago, the ones you shelved or forgot, they're still alive. I never forgot them. I've only been preparing the soil of your life so that when the dream begins to grow, it has the depth to sustain the weight of its fruit. You'll begin to desire me more than answers, more than outcomes. Not because your questions don't matter, but because your heart will recognize that I am the answer, even when the details remain unclear. Stay close, more is coming.